And number 7 is Eddie Barthong, aka Reverse Flash. If there's a super speedster that has supersonic speed with time travel abilities that's good, then you have to have the reverse. Now, this man was a well respected scientist who graduated from high school and college 40 years in the future and became the second coming of the Flash. He created a machine and generated enough electricity to hit himself, and all of a sudden he had the same powers as Barry Allen the Flash. But it turned out that he was obsessed of his favorite childhood hero. Then he became a superhero, and then he realized he would never get the respect and credit and admiration that Barry Allen the Flash would get. And as a response, he went into the future by time traveling by accident and discovered he became the villain to the Flash. And then basically, he had a grudge with the Flash for 20 years out of the 40 years in the future timeline. And of course, if you watch season 1 of the television show, you realize he got trapped in the past for 15 years and had to give another version of Barry Allen that didn't have no superpowers to make him run faster to get back to the future. And he's like the main villain. He created his own force, the negative speed force. He has time travel abilities. And of course, he's very intelligent, which nobody thinks a guy in a wheelchair is a supervillain, right? Wrong. He tricked and deceived the Flash and everyone else, and is responsible for giving normal people superpowers like Clifford the Bull, aka the Thinker, who is his arch rival when it comes to being highly intellectual. His character's been in all 5 seasons of the television show, and he's by far a huge fan favorite. He also took other people's identities. Yeah, that qualifies as being a super badass supervillain. Coming in at number 6 is Victor Von Doom, aka Doctor Doom. For someone who's rich, famous, a multi billionaire, 10 times over, rich and famous, a billionaire who dates supermodels, fitness models, actresses, who has everything good looks, money, fame, and a $1 billion company, but then decides to make the mistake of joining Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four and end up with cosmic scale power and then end up becoming a supervillain billionaire. That that right there is interesting. And it's all because he couldn't get a girl. Yes, you heard me, a girl. Just being just being rejected by one woman. Now this man can have any woman he wants, but he wanted one woman. Yeah, and then his face gets disfigured, and then he decides to become Doctor Doom, the arch nemesis of the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and the Avengers, and stole Silver Surfer's surfboard to get more cosmic power. And in an altering timeline, he took out all the superheroes, except for Doctor Strange, of course, and took over the world only to get beat by an aging Wolverine. That's gotta suck. Now, in the present timeline, he got more power because he married a gypsy. So he's dated 10 women, but woman number 11 he marries because she has the power of a gypsy, and that's how he achieves immortality. And he also is an arch rival to Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch as well. Coming in at number 5, Street Fighter's M. Bison. What happens when you get a military general who becomes a genetic engineered super soldier who goes to a village, kidnaps a beautiful, attractive girl that's a gypsy, and gets powers, and becomes a super powered, hungry, supercharged super soldier who becomes immortal and wants more power? You get Bison from Street Fighter. What makes him dangerous is that he can put anyone under his influence, and to break the control is impossible unless he's the one who does it. He tried to turn soldiers into super soldiers, and that actually failed. He ended up creating a creature just like the Hulk that turned against him, and became the villain to Ryu from Street Fighter. Coming in at number 4 is the Shredder. Now, Shredder is just like Reverse Flash. He he only became a supervillain because he got rejected by a beautiful, attractive Japanese girl who never found him physically, sexually attractive, and he would fight his best friend in martial arts tournaments and became champion, and she still didn't want him, and he got upset and got half his ear bit by a rat that we know as Splinter, and became the arch nemesis to the Ninja Turtles. And he somehow got access to dark magic, made himself immortal, and is basically a samurai in the 20th century, and created a device to time travel back in time. And he got this technology from Alien, of course. And then when he gets his arm cut off, he becomes Cyber Shredder, half human, half cybernetic, and still has his grudge with the Ninja Turtles. And this is a guy that's almost 100 years old. So don't underestimate Shredder, because he has over 50 years of martial arts experience and fighting capabilities with alien advanced technology, and he takes the philosophy of a samurai. Yeah, Wolverine's not the only samurai out there. There's the Shredder. And he's just as dangerous and cold and calculating as most of the supervillains on this list. Coming in at number 3 is Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Most people can relate to this character, because if you were in high school and you were in college and you got laughed, teased, and bullied, and then you end up getting cursed with immortality and supernatural powers, what do you get? Jason Voorhees. That's a freak of nature. If you just look at all the Jason movies and all the powers that he displays, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, stamina, regeneration, the ability to get hit by lightning, and that's what you get. Coming in at number 2 is Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. I mean, he's by far one of the badass supervillains. Darth Vader is one of those supervillains that exist in the world of Star Wars. What happens when you get a fallen Jedi who falls to the power of the dark side, gets growth in cybernetics, and his cybernetics grant him superhuman strength, superhuman agility, stamina, a healing factor, and he has the power of the Force and the dark side with telekinesis and telepathy. You get Darth Vader. Now, of course, he would then eventually go on the Jedi Purge and take out the remaining Jedis, and then he would get access to Sith magic, and the Sith magic would enhance his overall abilities. And of course, he has other powers that are never shown in the movies of Star Wars, only shown in the expanded universe of Star Wars comic books. He has a force field, he can levitate if not fly, and with the Sith magic, he can open and close dimensional doorways, cast illusions and magic spells, and he also can channel enough kinetic energy to hit you with a fireball, since he cannot use force lightning, because he's more cybernetic than human. And this is the chosen one, Anakin Skywalker, when he becomes Darth Vader. And of course, he's well versed in all 7 forms of lifesaver combat. And what makes him more of a super badass supervillain, he has the bounty hunter. He has his own bounty hunter. He has his own snow troopers. He's a jet fighter pilot. He makes his own lifesaver. And he has force vision, meditation. And the guy is able to read people's minds. And with the Sith magic, he can turn a baby dog into a giant 400-foot tall monster. So he has powers that were never displayed in these movies. He even has a force field. And of course, he's the chosen one, and he ended up being the one to defeat his master and bring balance back to the Force. He has his own castle. Yeah, that's what makes Darth Vader a super badass villain, is that he has a castle. And of course, he has 2 kids and a grandson, and basically he transcends into the Force and becomes a Force ghost. And even as a Force ghost, he still has strong, powerful use in both, which is very terrifying, because if he was able to harness the power, who knows what he might do. It's the idea that he got robbed of his own potential. Where Luke got to discover his potential 100%, Darth Vader got robbed of his potential. And it's all because of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Darth Vader gets punished by the Emperor for failing to maximize his potential at 100%. We're going to be seeing more of Darth Vader in the Star Wars television show soon in Disney Plus. And we're going to see the Darth Vader in his prime. That's why he's the number 2 best villain or greatest villain of all times. Coming in at number 1 is a supervillain. A supervillain that has yet to make his Marvel MCU debut, Galactus. I mean, what do you do with this guy? He is a respected scientist on a faraway civilization. One day there's a catastrophe on his planet, and he's given a logical choice: survive or perish. And he chooses, of course, survival. He gets reincarnated. He comes out of this giant egg cocoon, and he comes out as this 400-foot tall man in purple. And he has all of these superhuman slash cosmic scale powers. Powers beyond human conception that defies the laws of physics. He's literally 400 feet tall with superhuman strength, superhuman speed, stamina, durability, a healing factor, regeneration, shape-shifting abilities, telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, energy projection blast, can absorb different forms of energy, and he has advanced alien technology. And with all the power he has, he can basically do anything in the galaxy. He can give or take powers away from people. Prime example, he gave power to Silver Surfer. Yeah, and then he's immortal. What do you do with a guy that has all these powers and he's the bad guy? And he is an enemy to Thor, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and he even was able to fight somebody like the Eternals and the Ancestrals, the ones who actually gave him this power, and yet he does whatever he wants in the universe. And just like Cell from Dragon Ball Z, it was only a child that was able to defeat him. Go figure, a man or a woman can't beat him. Doctor Strange, Thor can't beat him, but Reed Richards, son of the Fantastic Four, beats Galactus. So that's what makes him number 1, is that he has all these powers and he's the bad guy. And only a few times in history he turns out to be the good guy when he wants to. And that's terrifying. When he wants to, that's very terrifying. That's why he's number 1. So let's recap. At number 4, Ares, the god of war. At number 14, Tarnos. Number 13, Agent Smith from The Matrix. Number 12, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. Number 11, Dark Sidious Palpatine. At number 10, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. At number 9, the Joker. Number 8, Cell from Dragon Ball Z. Number 7, Reverse Flash from the television show The Flash. Number 6, Doctor Doom. Number 5, M. Bison from Street Fighter. Number 4, Shredder from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 3, Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Number 2, Darth Vader. So there you have it. Now you have the top 15 super badass super villains. Now I apologize that this video got broken into 4 or 5 videos. It's unfortunate you have to watch all these parts of the video. It would have been nice if it could have just been a 15 to 20 or 30 minute video all together.